Hello, pupils. You're welcome to another wonderful edition of your favorite program, The Classroom in Your Home, a program organized by Lagos State Government and packaged by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, LASUBEB. It is to ensure that you're academically engaged in addition to what you're learning in school. I am Auntie Fumi, your English Studies teacher. As usual, I am not here alone. I have with me your wonderful teachers.
Hello, children. I am your mathematics teacher, Uncle Agbaje, but you know me as
the mathematician.
Uncle Popo is here, your general studies teacher.
And we also have our hard-working sign language interpreter, Uncle Wale. Together,
we are bringing the classroom into your home.
Please stay tuned. Hello, pupils. You're welcome to Auntie Fumi's class. In our English Studies lesson today, we will be looking at punctuation. Yes, that's the topic for today, punctuation. Have you ever heard the word before? Yes? No? Okay, that's the topic for today's lesson. But before we go into the learning objective for today's lesson, I gave you an assignment. Did you do it? Okay, let's do the correction together. Our last lesson we looked at indefinite pronouns and adverbs, and here is the homework given to you. You were asked to fill the spaces with the appropriate indefinite pronouns and adverb using the hints provided in brackets. Auntie Fumi got 5 out of 5. What about you? You got 5 too. Oh, you got 4. You are smart children. And I need to celebrate you with a cheer. Good job, you. Well done. Now to our topic for today. Remember, I told you that we're going to look at punctuation today. Punctuation. What is punctuation? Yes, that's where we're going. And by the end of today's lesson, you should be able to identify different punctuation signs. You should be able to identify different punctuation signs. Not only that, you should also be able to use punctuation signs correctly. Are you ready? Are you prepared to learn how to use punctuation signs correctly? Then, sit up your writing materials and let's begin. Punctuation, that's the topic. What is punctuation? Punctuation is the use of special marks. Punctuation is the use of special marks and signs in sentences. When you come across sentences in your books and you see that there are some special marks or special signs used in those sentences, that is what is known as punctuation. We have examples of those special signs or special marks as full stop. Full stop, when you see a dot, that's full stop. Especially when you are ending a sentence, you see the sign, that is the full stop. When you see this sign, it is called a comma. A comma, yes. And this, that looks like a hook, is called question mark. Question mark. We have many other examples of punctuation signs or punctuation marks. Okay. Punctuation also involves the use of proper capitalization. Punctuation also involves the use of proper capitalization. That is the use of capital letters and small letters. The use of capital letters is what I mean by proper capitalization. As we go on in the course of the lesson, you will know how to use capital letters, where to use capital letters. Are we together? Well done. Punctuation gives information about the meaning of a sentence. Punctuation gives information about the meaning of a sentence. When a sentence is properly punctuated, it gives the meaning of that particular sentence. If not properly punctuated, it can give a different meaning to what the writer has intended. Now, here is an example. Let's consider this group of words. Let us consider this group of words. A woman without a man is nothing. A woman without a man is nothing. Now, without punctuation marks, this sentence can have different meanings to different readers. Do you agree with me? Of course, it can have different meanings to different readers. How do I mean? Look at this. A woman, full stop. A woman, full stop. Without her, man is nothing. A woman, full stop. Without her, comma, man is nothing. That is a sentence. It has a meaning. A woman, without her, man is nothing. This means that the man is nothing without a woman. What this simply means is that the man is nothing without a woman. Do you agree with me? Okay, let's move on. Look at the second sentence. A woman without a man is nothing. A woman without a man is nothing. What does this mean? This means that the woman is nothing without a man. The same sentence but different placement of punctuation marks give just one sentence different meanings. So, a woman without a man is nothing means because you have the comma placed after man translated to mean that the woman is nothing without her man. But a woman, full stop, without her man is nothing. It means that the man is nothing without the woman. The same sentence, but due to the placement of the punctuation marks, we have different meanings. Are you with me? Now let's look at types of punctuations. Types of punctuations. Are we together? Well done. Now, the full stop. That is the one that looks like a dot. Full stop. The full stop is used at the end of sentences which are not questions or exclamations. You use the full stop at the end of sentences, provided the sentences are not questions or exclamations. For example, Bola came with her friends to my birthday party. You will say, Auntie Fumi, on birthday party. Yes, I like birthday parties, yes. Bola came with her friends to my birthday party. Full stop. It is a sentence that has been completed. And so, we have the full stop there. Did you get that? The full stop is also used in abbreviations. We also use the full stop for abbreviations. We don't use it alone for when we want to end a sentence, but we also use it for in abbreviations. Example, when you want to write professor and you want to abbreviate it, you don't want to write professor. You just write prof and you put a full stop. It is an abbreviation for professor. And WHO, World Health Organization. The abbreviation for World Health Organization is WHO. And after each of the letters used in abbreviation, you put the full stop, the full stop, the full stop to show that it's an abbreviation. That is about full stop. Now let's look at the question mark. The question mark. We use the question mark after a sentence which asks a direct question. After a sentence which asks a direct question, we use the question mark. Example, where is the book? Where is the book? you have the question mark there because you are asking a direct question. Did he eat the food? Did he eat the food? That is another question, and you have the question mark there. Now, the comma. The comma. The comma is the commonest punctuation mark used in passages. In your passage, in the passages you come across, you see that commas are often used. A comma is used to indicate a brief pause. Instead of the kind of pause you have when you have full stop, that you stop for some seconds. But for a comma, it indicates a very short pause, a very brief pause in a sentence. The pause is shorter than the pause made by a full stop. The pause is shorter than the pause made by a full stop. Look at this example. After watching the movie, the children slept off. Can you observe the ways, the pause that I observe here and here at the end of the sentence? After watching the movie, comma, a brief pause. The children slept off. End of sentence. A bigger pause. So, a comma is used to indicate a brief pause in a sentence. The comma is used to mark off items in the list. This is another use of the comma. When you want to mark off items in a list, you use the comma. Here are examples. We brought a biro, that is one item. A biro, comma, a pencil, comma, a ruler, and an envelope. We brought a biro, comma. You don't have to say the comma out, but with your voice, the pitch at which you use in making the sentence, it's definitely going to indicate that you're having a comma. We brought a biro, a pencil, a ruler, and an envelope. The comma is, however, not needed before or after the and in the sentence. That's why you don't have a comma here. We brought a biro, that's an item, a pencil, a ruler, and because you have just one more, you use and an envelope. And you don't need to put a comma before or after and. Did you get that? Brilliant you. So it's activity time. Punctuate the following sentences. Punctuate the following sentences. Number 1, who goes there? 2, I bought a pen, a pencil, and a ruler. 3, the chief was celebrated by his people. 4, the pupils did not prepare for the test, but they passed. And 5, submit your books now, the teacher instructed. I purposely read it that way so that I will not give you a hint about where to place your punctuation marks. So in the next 40 seconds, But now you should have finished writing the sentences and placing the correct punctuation marks accordingly. Okay, so let's do the correction together. Who goes there? That's a question. So what do you have there? The question mark. Did you get that? Please mark. Give yourself a tick if you have the question mark in front of Who goes there? I bought a pen, a pencil, and a ruler. Full stop. I bought a pen, a pencil, and a ruler. Full stop. 2 punctuation marks there. Did you get that too? Brilliant you. Number 3. The chief was celebrated by his people. That's a statement. And you just need the full stop at the end of the sentence. Did you do that too? I trust you. You are brilliant. Number 4. The pupils did not prepare for the test. There's a conjunction now. But they passed. So a comma comes before the conjunction but. The pupils did not prepare for the test, comma, but they passed. Full stop. 2 punctuation marks there too. Did you do that? Smart children. Submit your books now. Quotation marks. If you don't put this quotation marks, I may pardon you for today. But then, this comma must be placed. The teachers instructed. Submit your books now. The teacher instructed. I know smart kids among you will definitely make use of the quotation marks. So, Auntie Fumi got 5 out of 5. Did you get them all? You missed one. Okay, you are brilliant. You are awesome totally, and I celebrate you with a chair. Well done. Now for your assignment. You are to punctuate the following sentences. You are to punctuate the following sentences. In the next 40 seconds, please capture this assignment and I will come back to sign out. Well done, children. Well done. Make sure you do your assignment and submit promptly. Don't forget, you must indicate your name, your school, your class, and your local government education authority. Yes, that is the only way by which you can be identified and rewarded accordingly. So, on that note, I say that's it for today. We have come to the end of the English Studies lesson for today. I had fun teaching you punctuation marks, and I believe you enjoyed the lesson as well. So at this time, I want to hand you over to the mathematician, Uncle Agbaje, for another beautifully packaged mathematics lesson. Before I go, I will always reiterate that I am proud of you. Bye.
Hello children, you are welcome to this segment of the program, The Classroom in Your Home. It is mathematics time, and that means it is time to have some fun. I am Uncle Agbaje. Today in mathematics, we will continue our work on angles in triangles. How do we get the values of those angles? So in case you missed out on the last lesson, or there are some gray areas which you need to be cleared for you, then pay attention today, my friend, because today promises to be a better day. Before we run into that, let's look at some of the corrections to the previous assignment. Now, you were asked to find the missing angles in these cases. Okay, so I won't delve into the correction because some of these corrections serve as our example for today. So without wasting much time then, we will go straight into the learning objectives. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to find the missing angles in triangles using the properties of the triangle. That is, when you know the properties of a triangle, you will use that knowledge to find angles that are missing. You should also be able to find missing angles in a triangle using the sum of angles in a triangle. When you know that the sum of the angles in a triangle is a certain value, then you use this idea to find missing angles. And finally, you should be able to find the missing angles in a triangle using the sum of angles on a straight line. Well, all these may seem bogus right now, but trust me, by the end of the lesson, you would be smiling. Okay, So without wasting much time, let's get started. I will begin with that fact check that we had last week. The sum of angles in any triangle is 180 degrees. And why is that? If we have a triangle, any triangle for that matter, you can try it at home as well. There are three angles. I have labeled mine A, B, and C. So what you can do, my friend, is that at home you can draw a triangle on a sheet of paper and cut out the angles, this side, and this side. Then you try to rearrange the angles to form what I have here, a straight line. So in this case, you will find that this angle will fit in nicely into this point, and so this point, this angle here and this angle here are about the same thing. When you cut off this side, turn it, flip it 180 degrees, turn it the other way around. If the angle was facing this place, then let it face the other way, and it will fit nicely in here. This one that is in the middle, keep it like that, and this one that is at this end, facing the left side, when you cut off this part, just flip it the other way, and you will see that it fits in nicely right here. But of course, when we were introducing the concept of angles, we discovered that angles round a circle is 360 degrees, but when you start at a point and you get to the other side, on the opposite side, and you form a straight line, that means you have gone halfway, and that means you have gone 180 degrees. And so these three angles here form exactly a straight line, and you can see that the angles fit in nicely together and form a semicircle. So that is half of a circle, which is 360 degrees. Half of that is 180. So these three angles, A from here to here, let me use a pen. Okay, so from here to here is A, then B, then C. Everything forms a semicircle laying on the straight line. And that means that A and B and C is 180 degrees. But A is inside the triangle, B is inside the triangle, and C is also inside the triangle. That means that A and B and C together will give us 180 degrees as well, despite the fact they are inside the triangle. So the trick is to cut the angles from inside the triangle and realign them to form a straight line. You see that for any triangle, all the angles within will form 180 degrees. Now, armed with this fact, again for the day, we will be using this a lot. Okay, so let's go straight into problem solving. The first problem we're going to solve today is the correction to the previous homework, the first one. And so it says that we have these we have this triangle, three angles in there, and one of them is 71 degrees, one of them is 61 degrees. What is the third one? Now, what do we know? We know that we want to find this third angle, but what we know is that all the three angles inside a triangle will add up to what? Of course, that will add up to 180 degrees, as we have discovered in the previous slide. So that is exactly what we know, and what we want to find is to find x. But the three angles in this case are 61 degrees, 71 degrees, x degrees. So if I add 61 to 71 to x, I must get 180 degrees for all the angles in a circle. So we know that the degree 71, 61, and x will add up to 180 degrees. So the plan is simply to solve that equation so that we can find what x is. So we take 71 and 61 to the other side where you have the numbers, and you keep x on this side. So that is after identifying the terms. So x will be left on the left side. You bring down your equality sign, 180 will come down, but plus 71 crosses over and it becomes minus 71. Plus 61 crosses over and it becomes minus 61. And when you subtract 71 from 180 and then you still subtract 61, you get x to be 48. And so that means that x, this angle that is missing, is 48 degrees. It is 48 that you will add to 61 and 71 to complete the 180 degrees in a triangle. So let's check. If we had 48 plus 71 plus 61, let's do that somewhere. 48 plus 71 plus 61. 48, 61, 71. Of course, 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. write 0 to group 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 6 is 11. 11 plus 7 is 18. So we'll get 180 degrees, my friend. And so that means that our final answer is 48 for the value of x. That was simple enough, and I'm sure you will have no problem doing one of your own. And that one of your own is coming right up. Can you take this one in 30 seconds? Begin. Alrighty then, I believe that you're done. It was easy because it's of the same type the same type with the one that we solved the first time. So again, going by this, we know that the missing angle is f, and we know that there are two angles there that we know the value, 67 degrees and 44 degrees. But what we know is that all these three angles, f plus 67 plus 44, will add up to 180. So the plan is simply to solve the equation so that we can find f. And so solving the equation, we have f plus 67 plus 44 will give us 180. Now if we take the numbers to the right, 6 plus 67, when we identify, plus 67 will become minus 67, plus 44 will become minus 44. And so when we subtract 67 plus 180 from 180 and subtract 44 again from the result, we get f to be 69. And that means that our missing angle is 69 degrees. But if we check 69 plus 67, that will be 136, then plus 44, that gives us 180. I believe that was what you got. Excellent job, you, my friend. But that is not the end of the work for today. We have more variants of this type of problem. So let's see. This problem says that we should find the missing angle in the diagram. Okay, so we have only one angle given inside the triangle, but the other angles are not even given, and we do not know what they are, but we have to find this angle K. And so to find this angle, we observe that an angle has been given outside the triangle, that is an exterior angle. But when we said that three angles form 180, we were talking about the interior angles. So since we do not even know the other angles, how will we find K? There is no indication as to what the other two angles are. And so the only knowledge that we have to work with is the fact that the exterior angle here is 105. But how can we use that to find the interior angle K? Well, we can easily observe that outside angle, the exterior angle, forms a semicircle with K. And that means that from here to here, which is K, and from here to here, which is 105, everything forms a straight line. Now, do you remember that from our work on angles? All the angles on a straight line that form a semicircle equals 180 exactly. So in this case, only two angles form that 180, and that is the one we're going to work with. So we know that K plus 105 is 180 degrees. So we just find K, and that means that we take 105 to the left, and that is 180 minus 105, and in this case our x becomes 75 degrees. Easy peasy as you like it. It's as simple as that. So you have the interior angle and the exterior angle forming a straight line. You will get something like this many times. So just add the interior angle and the exterior angle together on that straight line. They give you 180. Then you can use that knowledge to find the interior angle. Now, I'm sure you can solve this on your own, and that is why I'm going to give you one of the same type. Now, here is that one. You have to find the missing angle. You have 30 seconds. Begin. Alrighty then, 30 seconds are up, and I believe that you are done, my friend, because it was easy and you are smart. But let's walk through it together. We know that the angle inside and the angle outside form a straight line, and this is the semicircle in question. From here to here is 63, and from here to here is y. Well, we want to find y, but we observe that 63 and y form a straight line, on top of which there is a semicircle, and so that means that these two angles form 180 degrees. Now, working with that, we had 63 and y, and we get 180. We solve the equation. Y plus 63 is 180. Then we take 63 to the other side, and it becomes minus 63. So y is 180 minus 63, and when we do the subtraction, we get 117. I'm sure that is exactly what you got, my friend. Isn't it? Beautiful. Now, let's see yet another variant of the problem. We are to find the missing angles inside the triangle. And if you study this diagram critically, there is nothing to go on except the fact that the outside angle here is 78. We do not know the interior angle beside that exterior angle. We now are asked to find the other two angles. But what else do we notice? We notice that this triangle has two sides equal, and that means that it's a what type of triangle? It is an isosceles triangle. Good job. Now, what do you remember about isosceles triangles apart from the fact that two sides must be equal? It is the fact that two angles must be equal as well, and these two angles are the angles at the end of the two lines that are equal. And so these two lines are equal. That is exactly what these marks mean. So if you trace that line to the end, you have angle N, and if you trace this line to the end, you have angle M, and that means that M and N are equal. So what do we know? We know the exterior angle here is 78 degrees. We also know that M and N are also equal because this triangle is an isosceles triangle. This is what we will work with. So what we're going to do now is that if we can find this angle, we should be able to find the remaining two angles. But can we find this angle inside? But of course, we can. And so we know that if we had 78 to this angle inside, we will get 180 degrees because angles on a straight line will give us 180 degrees. We also know that if we had M and N and this angle again, we will get 180. And finally, we know that M equals to N. So we write all these out. M and N and P, this angle, and this angle will give us 180 degrees inside the triangle. Also, 78 and P will give us 180 degrees angles on the straight line. And we know that M and N are the same thing. So we will try to find this angle. The plan is to find the straight line angles using that to find the missing interior angles. We try to find this angle first. When we get this angle, we proceed from there. So let's get this angle. We know that 78 and this angle gives us 180. 78 plus P gives us 180. And when we solve that, 78 goes to the other side. P is left. We have 180 minus 78. And when we do the subtraction, we'll get P to be 102. And so we'll write 102 right there. Now that we know that this angle is 102, we need to make it up to 180. And these two are equal. So we need to find an angle that will add to 102 that gives us 180, then divide it into two equal parts. I will take that again. We know that this is 102, and these two angles are equal. So we need to make this 102 up to 180. An angle exists that will add up to get 102 to get 180. When we know that angle, we divide it into two equal parts because we know that this part and this part are equal. So that's what we're going to do now. So 102 plus N is 180, and that means that M plus N is 180 minus 102. So we'll get that angle to be, that will give us 78. But note that M and N are the same thing, so we can write M to be N at the same time. Instead of having M plus N, we just have 2M because M and N are the same thing. So 2M is 78 because when we subtract 102 from 180, we will get 78 on the right side. And m and n are the same thing, so it's the same thing as saying m plus m, and that is 2m. And now we divide these two sides by 2 to get rid of these two so that we can get 1m. When we divide 78 by 2, let's see. 2 goes here 1, 2 goes here 3, remaining 1, 2 goes in 18 is 9. Then we get m to be 39, and if m is 39, n must also be equal to 39. So m and n are both 39 degrees. So I'm sure that you found this easy. Recall how we did it again. We first used the exterior angle to get the first interior angle, and then we use that interior angle to get the remaining two angles inside, since it's an isosceles triangle. Of course, you still have that homework for you to practice with, and of course the online assessments are there. Copy this down in 20 seconds, and I'll be right back to sign off. Alrighty then, we have come to the end of today's lesson in mathematics. I hope you had fun and you learned some new tricks. It's time for me to hand you over to Uncle Popo for the general studies lesson. Till I come your way in the next class, remain wonderful mathematicians. Bye bye now.
Hello pupils, you are welcome to General Studies class. I am Uncle Popo. Uncle Popo is here. Good, your response is I am also here. We are here together, then you say 100% attention. Uncle Popo is here. Excellent. We are here together. 100% attention. That means you are promising to give me 100% attention in today's lesson. Our subject for today is Basic Science and Technology. In our last lesson, we talked about simple machine and we focused on lever. There we sang a song to remember the position of fulcrum, effort, and load that fly like eagles. The F stands for the fulcrum, that's the first class lever. The fulcrum is always in the middle, then the load and the effort. The second class lever, that's the load is always in the middle, and the third class lever, the effort is always in the middle. That's how to easily identify the classes of levers. So today we want to move on to another example of a simple machine. And before that, let's look at this picture here. Can you see the picture there? So sometimes ago, let me talk about this picture. I want to say a very short story concerning it. Sometimes ago, a boy by name Agbarako, in English meaning not by power, he wanted to lift this heavy object, and he was worried about how to lift it. Then he called all his friends to help in lifting the object. They could see they could not lift the object. Then a song came up, and listen to the song. What can I use to lift a heavy object? I take on my pulley with a groove, wheel and rope. I can lift heavy object with the use of pulley. P-U-L-L-E-Y, pulley. Let me sing it again. What can I use to lift a heavy object? I take on my pulley with a groove, wheel and rope. I can lift heavy object with the use of pulley. P-U-L-L-E-Y, pulley. So that's how the song came, and the friends and everybody was happy concerning it because it gave them insight of what to use. That is, they thought of using pulley. Okay, from the song, three things: groove, wheel, and rope. So we'll still do something with those things I mentioned. Now let's look at these pictures. I want you to write down three things that are common to both of them. Okay, I'm waiting. That can find it here. You can also find it here. Three things. Okay, fine. So you have written your three things that are common to both machines down. Now let's look at the learning objectives for today. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to describe a pulley and its types, and you should be able to give examples of pulley, likewise state applications of pulley. Now let's define pulley. Now from the two pictures that I showed to you, I asked you to put down three things that are in common. The first one is what? Good, rope. And next is what? That circular device capable of rotating object or thing. That's your wheel. And the long narrow channel, that is the groove. So those three things we will use in defining what a pulley is. And at the same time, from that song, we said that used in lifting heavy objects. So the definition for pulley we have achieved with that. So a pulley is a type of simple machine. Just note that it's a type of simple machine made of wood or metal. It could be made of wood or metal, having a groove, that's a non-narrow channel, with a rope or chain, could be a rope or chain, passing around the groove, used in lifting any object. From the two pictures I showed to you, you know that well, we were using pulley there to lift heavy object. But in that grinding machine, we are not lifting any object there. So we say or roll parts of a complete machine. Okay, that's pulley. Now, it helps to reduce the amount of force needed to lift a load. With the use of pulley, that's one of the importance. It helps to reduce the amount of force needed to lift a load. That's one of the importance. I've told you it has a wheel with smooth groove in its rim and a rope passing around the groove. That's pulley. Now let's look at different examples of pulley. Different examples of pulley. Common examples of pulleys are, this is a well. I know some of you are not very familiar with this kind, and I know some of you have seen this type before. This is a well where we fetch water, and with the use of pulley, it's very easy to draw water from the well. You can see it there. So pulley, in our day-to-day activities, this is a well. The application of pulley I'm talking about, pulley is used to draw water from a well. Three things common: the rope, the wheel, and the groove. And we use that in drawing water from a well. Next one is a grinding machine. That's another example where pulley is applied. Don't forget, it's not only for lifting heavy object, but in rolling to complete in running of a machine. That's another function. Next one is window blinds. I know some of you have seen this in different offices. Pulley is also applied when you draw it. The curtain will open, and you can also use to close the curtain also. Likewise, at the theaters, if you have been there before to see movies, you will have seen this kind of, especially stage play. They use this type of curtains, and with the help of pulley, they use in drawing the curtain or to close the curtains. Now, let's talk about types of pulley. We have three basic types of pulley. How many? Three basic types of pulley. And the first one is the single fixed pulley. Say that. The single fixed pulley. Single fixed pulley, the wheel is fixed to a single spot. For example, a pulley is used to pull a bucket of water from a well. Like this now, the one we use in drawing water from well, that's an example of a single fixed pulley because the wheel is fixed to a single spot. This is the single spot, and this is the wheel. So you can just attach to a single spot. That's single fixed pulley. That's one of the types of pulley. That's the first one. The second one is movable pulley. Say that. Movable pulley. The wheel moves with the load. The movable pulley, the wheel moves with the load. Let's look at this picture here. This is the wheel. The man using it, we can say he is the load. So when moving, the wheel moves with the load. It started the journey from here. The wheel is moving, the load is also moving till it gets to the end. So in movable pulley, the wheel and the load move together. So the wheel moves with the load. That's the example here is the zip lines. I know some will have seen this on movie before. So that's an example of an example of a movable pulley. Next one, the third one is the compound or complex pulley. Say that. You can say a compound pulley or we can say a complex pulley. In this one, this combines both single fixed and movable pulley. That's the single fixed pulley, movable pulley, all the two combined together make complex pulley. This combines both single fixed and movable pulleys to produce greater lifting effect. The complex pulley system are found in, let's look at where we can find it. It can be found in elevators and in cranes. Let's look at this picture here. Movable pulley and fixed pulley all combined together as one. That's what complex pulley is. You can see this kind of crane you have seen in the construction site. We see this where they are using to lift heavy objects that human beings cannot carry. So that's complex pulley that combines fixed and movable pulley. So those are the three types of pulley. We talked about fixed, single fixed pulley, movable pulley, and complex or compound pulley. Now let's listen and watch this short video for more explanation on pulley. Good. Now from that video, you can see that it will not be very easy for this small boy to lift this heavy load without the use of pulley. So that is that about pulley. Now let's talk about applications of pulley. In my explanation, I've been talking about the applications, but let's look at more examples. Some applications of pulley in everyday life are, let's look at the first one. Elevators use multiple pulleys. Using elevator, it's make use of pulley to lift the people or loads up and to bring them down. So pulley is applied in elevators. Now the second one is a cargo lift uses pulley to hoist heavy items to higher floor. Maybe in construction site and they want to lift heavy objects or loads to higher floor. So they make use of cargo lift, and pulley is also applied here. Some exercise equipment use pulley system. If you have been to the gym center, you have some equipment that make use of pulley that you need to draw, you need to close. Another way, garage doors raise and lower utilizing a pulley system. Have you seen this type of doors before, where the doors will be lifted, then if you want to close it, you pull it down? So that's with the help of pulley that is possible. So this door will be lifted, and when you want to bring it, you can pull it down again. That's another. Okay, it's time for evaluation. So I have just 3 questions that you need to answer. The first question, state the 3 types of pulleys. We discussed the 3 types of pulley today. Number 2, dash pulley is the combination of fixed and movable pulleys. And number 3, mention 2 machines that use the pulley system. You have just 40 seconds to attempt this. Your time starts now. Uncle Popo is here. I believe you are still there, so let's mark together. The first question, say the three types of pulley: fixed pulley, movable pulley, compound or complex pulley. So you are correct. The second one, compound or complex pulley, is the combination of fixed and movable pulleys. And the third question, mention two machines that use the pulley system: elevators, construction cranes, garage doors, flagpoles, engine, and all that. Just two, you are very correct. 3 out of 3, let me see your hand. Raise it. Good. Excellent. 2 out of 3. Excellent. So you deserve to be celebrated with a chair. We have come to the end of today's lesson. Until next time, next lesson, Uncle Popo says, keep on studying. Bye.
My wonderful pupils, we have come to the end of another exciting edition of the Classroom in Your Home.
An exciting one indeed it has been for us. We hope that you enjoyed our lessons today in mathematics, English studies, and of course, general studies. Remember that practice, 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 that is the mother of perfection, and you can be perfect in all that we are teaching by simply checking out our online collection of online tests.
Yes.
You can access these tests using the link bit.ly/LASUBEB-TESTS. Remember, the link again is bit.ly/LASUBEB-TESTS. These online assessments are our way of knowing how well you are performing so that we can help you to improve on your performance.
Yes. Taking the online test or the online assessment is based on if you have access to either your daddies, your mommies, your uncles, or your aunties' Android or smartphones. If not, there's no problem. Just send your comments, your questions, and assignments to 081 50 86 5663. Just send your questions, your comments, and your assignments to that number. SMS and WhatsApp messages only. Please do not call that number. Do not call that number. And when you are submitting your assignment, make sure you indicate, it is compulsory that you indicate your name,
Your school,
Your class.
and your local government education authority. That is the only way by which you can be identified and appraised accordingly.
Good. All the lessons taught today and the previous ones are on Lagos SUBEB YouTube channel for you to watch over and over again at your own preferred time. All what you need to do is to subscribe to Lagos SUBEB YouTube channel to get notification when new videos are uploaded. The Classroom in Your Home could be watched live on Facebook through the page showing on the screen, the same time airing on television.
Okay. Until our next edition when we shall meet again on the Classroom in Your Home, I want to say, make sure you do your homework.
Wash your hands regularly.
keep studying hard, but above all,
Stay safe.
because at LASUBEB,
We leave no child behind.